Drew's rage, the fight for truth in Port Charles. The corridors of General Hospital echo with tension as Drew Kane limps through the halls on his crutches, his face a mask of barely contained fury. The sight of Willow Tate being led away in handcuffs has ignited something dark and dangerous within the wounded congressman, a burning need for justice that threatens to consume everything in its path. Drew's recovery from the shooting that nearly claimed his life has been nothing short of miraculous, but his emotional wounds run deeper than the bullets that tore through his back. As he watches the woman he loves become the prime suspect in his attempted murder, every fiber of his being screams in protest. He knows the truth that the Port Charles Police Department refuses to see. Willow Tate is innocent, and Michael Corinthos is the real culprit. The confrontation had been brewing for weeks, simmering beneath the surface like a volcano ready to erupt. Drew's investigation into his own shooting has led him down a dark path of family betrayals and hidden motives, each revelation more damning than the last. The discovery of Edward Quartermain's gun, the weapon used in the shooting, planted conveniently in Willow's room at Elizabeth Weber's house, was the final insult that pushed Drew over the edge. "I know it was you," Drew growls as he corners Michael in the Quartermain mansion study, his crutches creating an ominous rhythm against the marble floor. The younger man turns, his face a careful mask of innocence that only serves to further inflame Drew's rage. Michael's response is measured, calculated, the voice of a man who has learned well from his father Sonny's school of strategic denial. "I don't know what you're talking about, Drew. I'm sorry Willow was arrested, but if the evidence points to her..." "Don't." Drew's voice cuts through the air like a blade, his knuckles white as he grips his crutches. "Don't you dare stand there and pretend you don't know exactly what happened. You shot me, Michael. You shot me and then you framed the woman I love for it." The accusation hangs in the air between them, heavy with the weight of truth and consequence. Michael's jaw tightens, but his voice remains steady. "That's a serious accusation, Drew. One you can't prove." But Drew is beyond caring about proof. He's operating on instinct now, on the certainty that comes from knowing his enemy. "You were there that night. Tracy saw you. You went to my house to confront me, didn't you? About Willow, about the custody battle, about everything I've done to protect her from your toxic control." The words strike their target, and for a moment, Michael's composure cracks. A flash of something, guilt, perhaps, or anger, crosses his features before the mask slides back into place. But Drew has seen it, and it only confirms what he already knows. "You want to play games," Drew continues, his voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. "You want to manipulate the system and frame innocent people. Then let's play. But understand this, Michael. I'm not some scared little nurse you can intimidate. I'm a United States congressman with resources you can't even imagine." Michael finally shows his hand, his own anger beginning to surface. "You're the one who's been playing games, Drew. You destroyed my marriage, manipulated my wife, tried to turn my own children against me. Everything that's happened to you, you brought on yourself. So, you admit it," Drew says, triumphant. "You admit you had motive to want me dead." "Having motive isn't the same as pulling the trigger," Michael fires back, but there's something in his eyes now, a desperation that wasn't there before. Drew presses his advantage, moving closer despite his injuries. "You know what I think happened that night. I think you came to my house planning to confront me face to face. Maybe you even brought the gun for intimidation. Your great-grandfather's gun. How poetic. But things escalated, didn't they? Maybe I said something about Willow, about how she chose me over you. Maybe I pushed you too far." "You're delusional," Michael says, but his voice lacks conviction now. "Am I? Then explain to me how Edward's gun ended up in Willow's room. Explain to me why you showed up at Elizabeth's house right before the search warrant. Explain to me why you suddenly decided to allow Willow supervised visits with the children. Oh yes, I know about that little olive branch. Very convenient timing, Michael." The net is closing around Michael, and he can feel it. Drew watches with satisfaction as the younger man's composure continues to crumble. This is what he's been waiting for, the moment when Michael's carefully constructed facade finally falls away. You planted that gun. Drew continues relentlessly. You shot me. Then you panicked. You took the gun home, probably hid it somewhere in the Quartermain mansion. But then you got scared when the police started investigating. You needed a scapegoat, and Willow was perfect, unstable, desperate, with clear motive to want me dead. Stop, Michael whispers, but Drew is far from finished. So, you went to Elizabeth's house under the pretense of offering an olive branch to your ex-wife. You probably waited until Elizabeth was distracted, maybe even sent her out of the room somehow. Then you planted the gun in Willow's belongings. How does it feel, Michael? How does it feel to destroy an innocent woman's life to save your own skin? Michael's silence is damning, and Drew knows he's hit the mark. But knowing the truth and proving it are two different things entirely. Drew may be convinced of Michael's guilt, but convincing the Port Charles Police Department will require something more substantial than accusations and circumstantial evidence. You won't get away with this, Drew says, his voice filled with deadly promise. I'll find the proof I need to clear Willow's name and put you where you belong, behind bars. And if you think I won't tear this town apart to do it, you don't know me very well. Michael finds his voice at last, though it's strained with barely controlled emotion. You really want to go down this road, Drew. You want to turn this into a war. You started this war the moment you put those bullets in my back. Drew replies coldly, I'm just finishing it. The confrontation leaves both men changed. Michael, finally understanding the depth of Drew's determination and the danger he represents. Drew, more committed than ever to exposing the truth and freeing the woman he loves from a prison cell she doesn't deserve. But Drew's quest for justice will not be simple or straightforward. Michael Corinthos is not just any suspect. He's the son of a mob boss with connections throughout Port Charles, a Quartermain with family resources at his disposal, and a man who has learned the art of survival in a world where the stakes are life and death. As Drew begins his investigation in earnest, he knows he's walking into a maze of family loyalties, hidden alliances, and dangerous secrets. Every lead he pursues could be a trap. Every witness could be compromised. Every piece of evidence could be fabricated or destroyed. But his love for Willow and his hunger for justice drive him forward, even as the walls begin to close in around him. The battle lines have been drawn in Port Charles, and the war between Drew Cain and Michael Corinthos is about to reshape the lives of everyone they touch. In a town where family loyalty runs deep and secrets deeper still, Drew's search for truth may cost him more than he's prepared to pay, but backing down is no longer an option. Next, we will learn about the inspiring journey of fan-favorite actress Kirsten Storms as she navigates a challenging health chapter with remarkable grace and determination. Kirsten Storms, the beloved portrayer of the vivacious Maxie Jones on General Hospital, has opened up in an intimate way to her devoted followers, shedding light on her ongoing battle with health hurdles and the bold life shifts she's embraced to reclaim her well-being. This revelation arrives shortly after her on-screen alter ego was written into a storyline involving a prolonged stay at a specialized care center in Boston, a plot twist that eerily paralleled Storm's own decision to step back from the demanding rhythm of soap opera production. Fans had speculated wildly about her absence, with social media buzzing about potential burnout or family priorities. But Storms clarified that her hiatus was far more profound, a deliberate pivot toward healing that intertwined her professional world with personal vulnerabilities. In recent months, she relocated to the serene landscapes of Nashville, Tennessee, seeking not just a change of scenery, but a complete reset for her mind, body, and spirit. This move, announced earlier in the year, was no whim. It represented a courageous break from the high-pressure environment of Los Angeles, where the relentless pace of filming had amplified her stresses over time. Storms shared how the city's quieter vibes, with its rolling hills and community-focused vibe, have already begun to nurture a sense of tranquility she hadn't felt in years, allowing her to breathe easier amid uncertainty. Delving deeper into her medical narrative, Storms recounted the startling moment in January when a routine brain scan uncovered an unexpected aneurysm lurking on the right side of her brain, a discovery that sent ripples of anxiety through her life. She vividly described the doctor's office visit, where the weight of the news hit like a sudden storm, prompting her to crack light-hearted jokes about her rebellious brain to diffuse the heavy atmosphere, a classic Maxie-esque deflection that masked her inner turmoil. This was in her first encounter with neurological challenges. It echoed the harrowing 2021 craniotomy she endured, during which skilled surgeons meticulously extracted a cluster of non-cancerous cysts that had been pressing on delicate brain tissues, leaving her with lingering concerns about recurrence. The procedure back then had been a grueling ordeal, involving weeks of recovery marked by headaches, balance issues, and emotional lows. Yet Storms emerged stronger, channeling that resilience into her role and motherhood. Now, as she gears up for corrective surgery, she detailed a recent preparatory diagnostic test of sophisticated angiography that mapped the aneurysm's contours with precision, helping her medical team devise a tailored approach to mitigate risks. Throughout this process, her unwavering support system has shone brightly, particularly her close bond with Rielan, the former General Hospital star who played her on-screen sister. Rielan, ever the pillar of strength, has mirrored her role from Storm's previous surgery, offering round-the-clock encouragement, from late-night pep talks to practical help with daily routines. Their friendship, forged in the trenches of soap sets and deepened by shared life trials, has become a beacon, reminding fans how true connections can fortify one against adversity. Amid these health trials, Storms and Rielan are channeling their energies into a fresh entrepreneurial endeavor, the aptly named Kirsten and M, a creative outlet blending their mutual passion for knitting and crocheting into a burgeoning business. This venture isn't merely a side project. It's a therapeutic haven where they design and sell handmade accessories, from cozy scarves adorned with intricate patterns to playful amigurumi toys that capture whimsical soap-inspired themes. Storms elaborated on how these sessions, often held in Rielan's sunlit Nashville studio filled with yarn skeins in vibrant hues, provide a meditative escape, each stitch a mindful act that quiets the mind's chaos and fosters joy. They've even incorporated eco-friendly yarns sourced from local Tennessee farms, adding a sustainable twist that aligns with their values of mindful living. Launching amid Storm's health prep has been no small feat. They've hosted virtual workshops for fans, teaching basic crochet techniques while sharing snippets of their inspirational stories, turning potential downtime into productive, community-building moments. This collaboration not only bolsters their spirits, but also hints at future expansions, like pattern books or pop-up shops at craft fairs, showcasing how creativity can intersect with healing in profound ways. Reflecting on the broader tapestry of her experiences, Storms articulated how the convergence of her latest diagnosis with accumulated years of industry-induced stress, late nights, emotional role immersions, and the blur between character and self ignited a profound realization that radical change was imperative. The move to Nashville emerged as a multifaceted strategy, safeguarding her physical recovery through access to top neurologists at nearby Vanderbilt Medical Center, while nurturing her mental health via yoga retreats and nature walks that promote endorphin release and stress reduction. For her young daughter, Harper, now thriving in a less hectic environment, the relocation means enrollment in a creative arts school where she explores painting and music, fostering a childhood rich in play rather than performance pressures. Storms emphasized the holistic benefits, noting how Harper's laughter during backyard picnics or visits to local farms has become her ultimate medicine, reinforcing the importance of work-life boundaries in high-stakes careers. She wove in lessons from cognitive behavioral therapy sessions she's attended post-diagnosis, which have equipped her with tools to reframe anxiety, transforming fear into actionable steps. Emotional backing, she stressed, is the unsung hero in such battles. Without Rielan's empathy or her family's quiet solidarity, the path might feel isolating. Their crochet project, in particular, serves as a joyful ritual sessions laced with inside jokes about Port Charles drama, blending levity with purpose to rebuild her inner fortitude. In a tone brimming with optimism, Storms extended a poignant message to her audience. underscoring that even the most tempestuous phases of existence can illuminate paths to self-discovery and renewal. She penned a vivid analogy in her Instagram update, likening her brain's Loki rebellion to a stubborn plot twist in a soap script, one that demands rewrites but ultimately leads to character growth. This mindset shift, born from sleepless nights pondering mortality, has deepened her appreciation for fleeting joys, like Harper's milestone birthdays celebrated with homemade cakes, or quiet evenings lost in a good book. As she counts down to her upcoming procedure, tentatively scheduled for late fall to allow seasonal recovery in Nashville's mild climate, Storms is doubling down on what matters most, cherishing family bonds, like surprise video calls with GH castmates who send knitted care packages, nurturing friendships that feel like lifelines, and immersing in artistic pursuits that ground her spirit. Her narrative echoes Maxie Jones' unyielding spirit, bold, heartfelt, and ever adaptable, proving that off the screen, Storms continues to inspire with her authenticity. Fans have rallied in droves, flooding comments with prayers, personal stories of overcoming health scares, and pledges to support Kirsten and M's launches, creating a virtual embrace that amplifies her journey's positivity. As the General Hospital community holds its breath, there's collective hope that this chapter will usher in brighter days, affirming that resilience isn't just a trait for fictional tales, but a real-life superpower. The ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel sends heartfelt wishes for Kirsten Storms' swift recovery and continued triumphs, reminding everyone that strength often blooms from our toughest trials. Stay tuned for more updates on this evolving story. Next, we will dive deep into the explosive revelation that's set to shake Port Charles to its core as Jason Morgan finally unleashes a long-buried secret about Jocelyn Jacks. In the heart-pounding weekly teasers for General Hospital, Jason appears on the verge of a dramatic outburst, ready to disclose the shocking reality that Jocelyn, the fierce and determined daughter of Carly Spencer, has secretly taken on a high-stakes role as an undercover agent for the World Security Bureau, or WSB. This bombshell is just idle gossip. It's a confession that could unleash chaos across the tight-knit community of Port Charles, where loyalties are fragile and secrets have a way of unraveling entire lives. Imagine the ripple effects: families torn apart, alliances tested, and old wounds reopened as the truth about Jocelyn's dangerous double life spreads like wildfire through the town's interconnected web of drama. Jason, ever the stoic enforcer with a code of honor that's been battle-tested through years of mob wars and personal betrayals, seems unable to contain the weight of this knowledge any longer, suggesting a pivotal shift in his usually ironclad discretion. The burning question hanging over this scene is the identity of Jason's confidant, who will be the first to hear this earth-shattering admission, and what motives drive him to break his silence now. If Jason's sudden surge of conscience proves too overwhelming to suppress, logic points straight to Carly Spencer, the fiery matriarch whose maternal instincts have always guided her through Port Charles storms. Carly, with her history of fierce protectiveness over her children and her deep, unspoken bond with Jason forged in countless crises, might be the natural choice for such a vulnerable moment. Yet, this isn't a straightforward path. Jason could be wrestling with the ethical dilemma of betraying a promise he made to Jocelyn herself, who likely swore him to secrecy during a tense, clandestine meeting in the shadowy underbelly of international espionage. Adding layers to this intrigue, envision Jason pacing the dimly lit docks at midnight, the salty sea air mirroring his turbulent thoughts, as he debates whether revealing Jocelyn's covert operations, perhaps involving a high-profile WSB mission targeting a global syndicate, could save her from unseen threats or merely amplify the dangers lurking in her path. However, Carly isn't the sole candidate in Jason's circle of trust, and the previews leave room for tantalizing alternatives that could reshape the narrative in unexpected ways. One compelling possibility involves Britt Westburn, the sharp-witted doctor whose own tangled history with secrets and survival instincts makes her an unlikely but intriguing sounding board. Picture Jason cornering Britt in the sterile confines of General Hospital's break room, his voice low and strained as he unloads the burden of concealing Jocelyn's WSB affiliation from Carly, seeking her medical perspective on the psychological toll of such deception. Britt, no stranger to moral gray areas after her own brushes with corporate espionage and family betrayals, might offer pragmatic advice drawn from her time navigating the Casadini clan's dark machinations, perhaps suggesting a phased approach to the revelation to minimize fallout. This twist could be a clever misdirection by the writers, where the teaser footage clips Jason's words mid-sentence, transforming what seems like a full confession into a heartfelt vent about his internal conflict, complete with flashbacks to Jocelyn's recruitment by the WSB after a pivotal encounter with a rogue agent during her college years abroad. Delving deeper, the scenario expands if Jason seeks counsel from heavy hitters in his professional sphere, like Sonny Corinthos or Damian Spinelli, turning this personal crisis into a strategic powwow with broader implications. Sonny, the enduring kingpin whose empire has weathered storms from RICO investigations to personal vendettas, could provide Jason with the gritty wisdom of someone who's juggled family secrets and underworld loyalties for decades. Envision a clandestine meeting in Sonny's fortified warehouse, where Jason confesses not just the fact of Jocelyn's undercover work, but the specifics, her alias. The target she's pursuing may be a Port Charles-based arms dealer with ties to the mob, and the moral quandary of how this endangers Carly's budding romance with the enigmatic Jack Brennan. Sonny, ever the tactician, might counter with tales from his own past, like the time he shielded his children from his criminal world, urging Jason to weigh the risks of exposure against the bonds of silence. Meanwhile, Spinelli, the tech-savvy hacker with a heart of gold, brings a different angle, analytical support, perhaps hacking into WSB databases to verify Jocelyn's safety protocols or brainstorming ways to feed Carly partial truths without blowing her cover. This confab could highlight Jason's rare vulnerability, as he admits the guilt gnawing at him like an untreated wound, especially since Carly has already sensed his evasiveness during their recent coffee shop chats, her intuition sharpened by years of reading between the lines in their complicated friendship. At the core of Jason's turmoil is an overwhelming sense of remorse for withholding this from Carly, a woman who's become his anchor amid the chaos of his resurrected life post-Croatia. It's been weeks since Jason returned from that European odyssey, his mind heavy with the discovery of Jocelyn's clandestine career, a path she chose after rejecting a safe corporate job to chase adrenaline-fueled justice, trained in evasion tactics and gadgetry that would make even Jason envious. Every passing day amplifies his anxiety, knowing Jocelyn's missions could involve perilous stackouts in seedy motels or high-speed chases through foreign cities. Yet blowing her cover might invite retaliation from the very threats she's combating. Jason's internal battle intensifies as he observes Carly's deepening connection with Jack Brennan, a suave ex-WSB operative whose charm masks a mysterious past, prompting Jason to question if their agreement to respect each other's romantic choices still holds when Jocelyn's life hangs in the balance. He might confide in a trusted ally about the impossibility of perpetual silence, pondering scenarios where Jocelyn's cover crumbles during a botched operation, leaving Carly blindsided and the Spencer family fractured. If Jason does summon the courage to lay it all bare to Carly this week, the aftermath promises fireworks that could redefine their dynamic and ripple through Port Charles' social fabric. Carly's reaction would be volcanic, initial shock giving way to a torrent of questions about how long Jason knew, why he prioritized Jocelyn's secrecy over her right to protect her daughter, and whether his loyalties now skew toward the WSB's shadowy agenda. Forgiveness might prove elusive, especially if Carly uncovers that Britt was looped in earlier, perhaps during a tense consultation where Britt advised on the stress indicators Jason was exhibiting, fueling Carly's resentment toward Jason's selective trust. Amid the betrayal, Carly could redirect her fury toward Jack Brennan, suspecting his WSB history played a role in Jocelyn's recruitment, leading to explosive confrontations at the Metro Court where accusations fly and hidden agendas surface. Yet, in true soap fashion, This revelation might forge unexpected alliances, with Carly rallying the family Michael, Christina, even Donna to support Jocelyn's choices while grappling with her own fears of losing another child to danger. Ultimately, Jason's confession tests the unbreakable thread between him and Carly, hinting at a path toward reconciliation only if he proves his actions stemmed from love rather than doubt.